We are back here on the Cowboys Report, another at-home edition, because there is some breaking news on the Cowboys. Markquese Bell, the set-to-be restricted free agent, has re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys on a 3-year deal worth up to $12 million. I will go into why the up to might be doing at least a little bit more work than what we normally get in some of these situations. Apologies for some slight hat hair. Just got off the golf course, by the way, which is always fun to be able to squeeze in before free agency. But there's news, so we're going to cut dinner short and get this video out for you instead. Hit that sub button. We will be live tomorrow for the start of NFL free agency. Maybe it's start, since there was a lot of movement today. Re-signing, some cut guys getting added to new teams. Devontae Adams, Harold Landry. Hit that sub button for Cowboys videos all free agency long. So Markquese Bell, the safety, once a linebacker, was a safety again before that, key special teams player, is re-signing on a 3-year deal worth up to $12 million. Now, as of filming right now, and this news broke not very long ago, all we see is the up to figure. I would be willing to guess there's at least $1 million or $2 million of that $12 million price tag that is unlikely to be earned incentives, meaning it's not really going to be $12 million. It's probably not going to actually be $4 million per year. We also don't know the guaranteed money. That matters a lot. I mean, this could totally be a three-year, $6 million in year 3 that's non-guaranteed. And then at that point, it's like, okay, that's not really the true $4 million price tag there. Given the fact that the RFA tender was going to be a little over $3 million, I would guess at minimum he's getting $4 million guaranteed, at minimum. And I would bet the cap hit is also probably less than what that RFA right of first refusal tender was going to be as well. So they're probably saving cap hit in year 1, and we'll get a good feel for the actual nitty-gritty contract details whenever we get them, whether that's tomorrow, later tonight, a couple days from now, whatever. But give me your one-word reaction to the Cowboys re-signing Markquese Bell. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. It is the pinned comment on today's video, which means if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. There's been reports the Cowboys are going to give the second-round tender to Kevontae Turpin, which isn't a huge surprise either. We'll see how that plays out. But I do think bringing back Bell is solid. This isn't a move in a bubble I don't have any issues with. You're giving him a little bit more than the average per year of what the RFA tender was going to cost. That's not going to be a bad thing. That's not a debilitating contract. It's solid. It's a normal contract for a backup safety who I would like to see play more. I would like to see do more on defense, and is a key special teams player for you, because that's going to be backloaded, and maybe not by the time we get to 2026, maybe even parts of 2025, he's playing more, and you're not paying him all that much. He's still very much third in the contract pecking order, behind Donovan Wilson and behind Malik Hooker. But I do still have hopes that the Cowboys can give Markquese Bell more playing time. I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid player. I think every time he's been pressed into actual duty on defense, he's done some good stuff. Maybe Matt Eberflus will give him a chance to play more on defense than Mike Zimmer did. And allowing him to be a strong safety can fit him, and he can just be more impactful. Maybe not as impactful as he was playing position at linebacker back in 2023, but more than he was in 2024. We'll spend some more time on Adams or Bell and others here, but I do think that this is about the right contract for him. I do think this is about the right deal to give Markquese Bell, lock him up for the long term. Again, we don't have the actual guaranteed money. I keep refreshing my timeline in the middle of the show to see if it pops up there. We don't have the actual per year, the actual, likely value, the guaranteed money. I would bet it comes in a little bit lower. I would bet the guarantee comes in around, it's going to be at least 4, but, maybe it's 5 or 6, something like that. That's not a huge surprise. I think that's a fair deal. So I want to do more. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to settle for, we signed Markquese Bell, and we brought back some guys, and that's good for us. But this move, no complaints about it at all. So grade the signing for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. How do you feel about the move to bring back Markquese Bell? One thing I want to address, by the way, the shoulder injury. I'm not worried about that. A dislocated shoulder, as painful as that was, that required surgery, is not going to be, an injury that requires 8 months to recover from. Like I would bet he's good to go and back out there for off-season workouts and all the stuff that happens in April and May and June, and let alone before we get to July and training camp. So I'm not worried about that. If you have trauma over the previous injury history of the Cowboys paying guys coming off injuries, I understand where you're coming from. This is a shoulder injury. I would feel differently if it was an ACL. It's not an ACL. As for the safety room, I don't think this is going to lead to any changes in terms of the actual makeup of the room. I don't think you're going to see suddenly, we're going to cut Donovan Wilson. It'd be a surprise to me. It's not impossible, but it would be a surprise to me if that is the path that this team chose to go down. You're not really paying Markquese Bell very much money. We'll see what the actual money comes in at. The cap hit is probably going to be less than $3 million. It's less than the RFA tender. It's not a big contract at all. This does, I think, put you in a pretty good spot at safety if you like Hooker and Wilson. If you don't, it's a different conversation, and I get that, because I wouldn't have minded seeing the Cowboys try to make a splashier upgrade, but we know how they feel about doing splash stuff in the end. But doing, you brought back Wanye Thomas as an exclusive rights free agent. That was a no-brainer deal as well. That's free square. You have Hooker, you have Wilson, you have Bell. I want to get Bell on the field more and maybe rotate some snaps for guys beyond that, but I think that this is probably going to be your safety room. Maybe a late day 3 pick. If Shiloh Sanders goes undrafted, he's either going wherever Shedeur went or Dallas. I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer. I wouldn't be surprised with that one at all. They'll bring in some additional UDFAs just to get through the preseason and everything. But I think with Bell back in the fold, with Wanye Thomas back in the fold, and Hooker and Wilson still under contract, probably going to look very similar safety room to last year. We will have more updates as they come in. So if you haven't already, a reminder, hit that sub button right now.